Top 10 highest rated manhwa or webtoon of all time according to MAL. Manhwa is a very popular interest between Koreans in Japan. Manhwa is generally comic and it consists of a mixture of manga and anime genres that make it different from English-style comics. This is a list of the top 10 manhwa or webtoon in which fans can binge on. Each story of this list is unique, which makes them stand out among others. Aside from that, there are also other best manhwa or webtoon readers will also be interested in this list. Before we begin, be sure to subscribe We Love Anime for more top 10s. Starting off with our number 10, Noblesse. Noblesse is an amazing Korean manhwa about a man named Rai, who awakens after being asleep for 820 years. After he awakens, he takes on the looks of a high school student and unknowingly meets an acquaintance of his named Frankenstein, who also happens to be the chairman of the high school he wandered into. From then on, Roy decides to stay enrolled at the school as a student in order to learn about the 820 years he happened to miss, all the while making new friends at the school, learning about the new technology, customs, and of course, the food. You will understand that later. The story may sound dense, but in fact is very entertaining. The main characters eventually take on enemies and little by little their identities are revealed. This manhwa literally had me laughing out loud at some moments, at others cheering on the main characters during their battles. As the story progresses, so does the dialogue. Number 9. Omniscient Reader. The story and plot is really interesting so far and it's unique but also kind of familiar because like other people said, it reminds you of Dungeon Reset and other shounen survival game mangas. The characters are cool too, and the protagonist in the phone is also hot, so yeah, that's a plus and the art is really pretty and clean. I'm only on chapter 11 right now, so the story seems to be moving a bit slow for me, but that will probably speed up later. The only reason why it's not a perfect score is because the MC doesn't have any strong developments so far, because he already knows what's going on and only has to think, but I can't really complain because that's the whole plot. Overall, it's really good to read. Number 8. Something About Us. I'm sure we have all heard of this story a lot of times. Boy and girl are best friends, but they develop romantic feelings for each other over time, but they don't want to admit it because they don't want to ruin their friendship. Such a simple story, but with so much potential. I love that the fact the story took place in a university instead of a high school. It felt more relatable and real for some reason. I really liked it. The art was amazing, very pretty design and I love the colors. All the characters had unique features. I also liked that each POV had a different color. It made me easier to read. Number 7. Who Made Me a Princess? The beautiful Athanasia was killed at the hands of her own biological father, Claude the Algar Obelia, the cold-blooded emperor. It's just a silly bedtime story until one woman wakes up to suddenly find she's become that unfortunate princess. She needs a plan to survive her doomed fate and the time is running out. Will she go with plan A, live as quietly as possible without being noticed by the infamous emperor? Or plan B, collect enough money to escape the palace? Or will she be stuck with the plan C, sweet-talking her way into her father's good graces? Number 6. The Legend of the Northern Blade. For decades, the brave warriors of the Northern Heavenly Sect fought to keep the world safe from the evil Silent Knight. But when the 4th generation leader is accused of colluding with the enemy, he is forced to disband the sect and commit suicide to protect his son, Moo-won. With no family and allies left, Moo-won leads a dreary life under close surveillance until a surprise attack from the Silent Knight gives him a chance to escape to the mountains. There, the young warrior trains to master the fighting techniques of his predecessors before the mysterious disappearance of a loved one brings him back to the mainland. Follow Moo-won as he embarks on a journey to avenge his father's death and take down the villains who threaten to plunge the world into darkness. Number 5. Windbreaker. I cannot recommend this story enough. Do you know what kind of mastermind you have to be in order to create a story with this much depth and care? Not a single detail goes unnoticed in this comic, and every chapter leaves you wanting more. Anything really, anything please. This started off as a cool edgy little comic about street racing bike actually racing, and it taught me a lot along the way, from terminology to bike parts to basic road manners. But I never felt like I was being lectured to. The characters did such a wonderful job of sharing this knowledge that it never felt forced. And the characters, oh my gosh, they are amazingly well written. Number 4. Tower of God. Fame, glory, power. Anything in your wildest dreams is possible when you reach the top of the Tower of the God. Those lucky enough to be chosen by the tower ascend each floor in hopes of fulfilling their dreams, but to succeed, they must complete dangerous and deadly tests along the way. But there are others who can enter the structure of their own free will. These irregulars are feared by many and are said to leave chaos and change in their wake. 25th Bam is one such irregular who begins to climb the Tower of God in hopes of reuniting with his childhood friend Rachel. But as he soon discovers, this perilous path will put him in the crosshairs of fierce competitors, untrustworthy rivals, and terrifying monsters, and he might not make it out alive. Number 3. The Breaker. New Waves. Shin Chun is now a clan head. Then he eventually gets his key center restored and is stronger than ever, fighting SUC, which is like minions under the 9 Arts Dragon NAD. Fights some of the lieutenants, fights a sub-boss, then his master. A bunch of masters die. Then the next cliffhanger, which won't be resolved till 2017 at the earliest, Shiho wakes up. The first part of the New Waves might be a little bit boring since the protagonist loses his ability to do martial arts. We are going to see how weak he is against powerful opponents. But after 70 plus chapters, we will see the protagonist to be badass again using his martial arts. The long wait will be worth it. Number 2. The Boxer. A beautifully crafted story that honestly struck a very large chord in me. This one comic alone was able to make boxing, which was a topic I didn't really care for before, seem so interesting and amazing to me. Boxing is now probably my favorite sport, thanks to this comic. Aside from that, author does an amazing job at creating stunning and multifaceted diverse characters that seem incredibly realistic. And even forgetting all of those other aspects, the main character alone and all of the mysteries surrounding him, the story all the more enjoyable. You really get the package deal here. Satisfaction, thrill, action, feels, etc. Honestly, a great experience and one of, if not my favorite comic or manga of all that I have read. Amazing read, would highly recommend it. And finally, number 1, Solo Leveling. As expected, Solo Leveling is the all-time favorite manhwa of fans as the series has a record 33,004,977 user votes on the My Anime list. 10 years ago, the gate appeared and connected the real world with the realm of magic and monsters. To combat this vile beast, ordinary people received superhuman powers and became known as hunters. 20-year-old Sung Jin-woo is one such hunter, but he is known as the world's weakest, owing to his pathetic power compared to even a measly E rank. Still, he hunts monsters tirelessly in low-rank gates to pay for his mother's medical bills. However, this miserable lifestyle changes Jin-woo, believing himself to be only one left to die in a mission gone terribly wrong, awakens in a hospital 3 days later to find a mysterious screen floating in front of him. This quest log demands that Jin-woo completes an unrealistic and intense training program or face an appropriate penalty. Initially reluctant to comply because of the quest rigor, Jin-woo soon finds that it may just transform him into one of the world's most fearsome hunters. Well, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Also, do subscribe to our channel if you want for more top 10 animes or manhwas reviews and all that stuff in one place. Also have fun reading and enjoy your day. First Anime is signing out. See ya in the next video tomorrow. Till then, tata, take care and adios.